They called him a genius, a prodigy, the boy who connected the world. But behind every billion-dollar empire, there's a story no one wants to talk about. Betrayal, broken friendships, lawsuits, and a genius who may have crossed lines to build his throne. This isn't the story of how Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook. This is the story of what it cost him to own it. Back in 2003, in a dimly lit Harvard dorm room, a 19-year-old Mark Zuckerberg was just another student who liked to code. But that night, frustration and brilliance collided, and history changed. After a breakup, Mark hacked into Harvard's servers to create a site called FaceMash, comparing photos of female students to rate their looks. It crashed the university's network and sparked outrage, but it also revealed something darker. This wasn't just a prank. It was a glimpse into a mind obsessed with control, data, and connection, no matter the cost. Just weeks later, 3 Harvard students, Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler Winklevoss, and Divya Narendra, approached Zuckerberg with an offer. They were building a site called Harvard Connection, a network meant to link Harvard students together. They wanted Zuckerberg to help them code it. He agreed. But what happened next became one of the most famous betrayals in tech history. While the Winklevoss twins and Narendra waited for Mark to finish their project, Zuckerberg secretly began building something of his own, a new website called The Facebook. When it launched in February 2004, it exploded across the Harvard campus like wildfire. Thousands of students signed up overnight. The Winklevoss twins were stunned. The website looked eerily similar to what they had described, but this one had Mark's name on it. They felt cheated, lied to. They claimed Zuckerberg stole their idea and even used their source code to launch his own empire. Zuckerberg denied everything, insisting that the Facebook was his original concept. But the twins wouldn't let it go. They sued him for fraud, breach of contract, and theft of intellectual property. The battle that followed wasn't just about code. It was about credit, fame, and the birthright to one of the most powerful ideas of the 21st century. For years, lawyers fought back and forth. Zuckerberg's legal team painted him as the genius visionary who simply executed faster. The Winklevoss twins were portrayed as entitled rich kids who wanted a piece of something they didn't build. But the truth, it was somewhere in between. And only Zuckerberg really knew how deep the deception went. In 2008, Facebook settled the case, paying the twins and Narendra around $1 million in cash and stock. Years later, that stock would be worth hundreds of millions. And just when the world thought Zuckerberg had moved past it, another storm was brewing inside Facebook itself. His best friend, Eduardo Saverin, the man who believed in him when no one else did, would soon face the same fate. Eduardo met Mark at Harvard. He was calm, business-minded, and believed in Zuckerberg's dream from day one. While Mark built the platform, Eduardo handled the finances, acting as Facebook's first CFO. He invested his own money to keep the servers running when no one else cared. Together, they were unstoppable, until greed, power, and ambition stepped in. As Facebook grew beyond Harvard, Mark attracted Silicon Valley investors. People like Sean Parker, the flashy Napster founder who saw potential in Zuckerberg's ruthless focus. Parker encouraged Mark to move fast, think bigger, and, if necessary, leave old loyalties behind. Eduardo was slower, more cautious, and often disagreed with the way things were handled. To Mark, that was a problem. To Sean Parker, it was an obstacle. Then came the moment that changed everything. When Facebook was officially incorporated in Delaware, Eduardo's shares, once a major stake in the company, were quietly diluted to almost nothing. His name was being erased from the company he helped build. When he found out, he was furious. He lawyered up and sued Zuckerberg and Facebook for cutting him out of his own creation. The courtroom turned into a battlefield. Emails surfaced. Legal documents leaked. And suddenly, the world saw Zuckerberg not as the awkward genius in a hoodie, but as a cold, calculated businessman who wouldn't hesitate to burn bridges if it meant keeping control. Eduardo's lawsuit painted Zuckerberg as manipulative, driven by power more than partnership. Yet, deep down, everyone knew, without Eduardo's early faith and money, Facebook might never have survived those first months. The lawsuit was eventually settled privately. Facebook restored Eduardo's title as a co-founder, and when the company went public in 2012, he became a billionaire overnight. But their friendship, it never recovered. Two best friends who once dreamed of changing the world were now strangers divided by billions of dollars and broken trust. These two legal battles, the Winklevoss twins and Eduardo Saverin, shaped Zuckerberg's legend. Some say they reveal his unmatched vision. Others say they expose his willingness to betray anyone in his way. Maybe both are true. Maybe that's what it takes to become a billionaire in a world built on ideas, not loyalty. But the story doesn't end there. As Facebook grew into a global empire, its controversies only multiplied. From accusations of privacy violations to the Cambridge Analytica scandal that shook the world, Zuckerberg found himself back in front of judges and governments, answering questions about how much control one man should have over billions of lives and data points. Congressional hearings, public apologies, leaked documents, whistleblowers. Every new scandal echoed back to that same Harvard dorm room, where a 19-year-old boy discovered how powerful information could be. So, did Mark Zuckerberg ever get arrested? No, but he's been tried in the court of public opinion over and over again. Not for crimes that can be handcuffed, but for the moral ones that leave deeper scar. The story of Facebook isn't just about success. It's about what happens when ambition outgrows friendship, when innovation crosses ethics, and when the drive to connect the world disconnects the man who started it all. In the end, Zuckerberg didn't just build a social network. He built a digital empire on foundations of conflict, ambition, and controversy. An empire that made him one of the richest men alive, but also one of the most criticized. The lawsuits faded, the settlements were paid, but the whispers never stopped. Did he steal? Did he betray? Or was he simply smarter, faster, and more ruthless than everyone else? Maybe we'll never know the full truth. But one thing's certain, every time you open Facebook, you're not just scrolling through posts and photos. You're scrolling through history. A story born in betrayal, built in controversy, and still unfolding one click at a time.